Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to give people like 2 more minutes. We have a lot of people that are they're at a training in Branson, Missouri. So we have a lot of people who will catch the recording of this. Oh, and I guess I just said that, and they're going to watch that on the recording. So hi guys for not showing up. We still love you. And then it's obviously in our education group. So you guys, but I'm going to give them about 10 more seconds because we already hit record. Okay. By the way, I totally had a whole entire different outline for tonight's call because I thought that I could control it and I thought I'd just stay in the same path that I usually do. And then, God was like, no, you're not talking about that, Tammy. So about 5 o'clock tonight, I was in here frivolously taking notes and researching and going down rabbit holes. And it's been great. So I've enjoyed my last few hours of my life, rewriting all of my notes for tonight's call. And I hope that it blesses somebody. I hope that there was a reason why it completely changed. And I am all right with being a vessel, no matter how crazy the last 3 hours have been with me making sure that I had the right content and correct information for you. I know that it's here for a reason and that somebody is meant to hear it because it's valuable stuff and it's super important. Okay, guys. Y'all ready? Let me check. Make sure there's no comments. Okay, cool. Oh, Janie, hi, girl. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was, the usuals, like the leading causes of death, right? And, all of that and understanding cancer and 95% man-made and all of the stuff that I normally talk about because that stuff really fires me up and it makes me angry inside. And then I did text my friend Kristen and said, hey, can you pray that like my heart is softened? Because honestly, when I start to look into that stuff, guys, I get really angry inside and I don't want to be angry anymore. But what the Lord actually told me was, Tammy, everybody's gonna finish dead, right? We're all gonna die at some point. But what about when we're living? What about now? Are we living an abundant life? Are we living a spirit-filled life? Are we living a fulfilled life? Do we have energy? Is our mind functioning properly? So as I started thinking about that, right? So I usually talk about death and how not to get there so quickly. Tonight, I actually want to talk about life and are you living it properly? Or are you being indoctrinated by, I don't know, propaganda and the push of harsh chemicals in your home, which could possibly be harming you and your brain and your pineal gland. And we're going to talk about that, right? So I never have taught on the pineal gland. I have never even really, I know what it is. I've known what it is. I've never dove so deeply into it as I did tonight. And when I did, I was like, oh, I'm fired up. Like I'm on caffeine. I was like texting my friends. I'm like, y'all, you got to get on this call. Like, because this stuff is crazy of what I'm learning about how the pineal gland works, right? And by the way, it is called the pineal gland, right? So I started looking into it and a lot of people call it the pineal gland. And the reason it's called the pineal gland is because it looks like a pine cone. It's a super tiny thing. It's like super duper small, but it's literally the shape of a pine cone. And just an FYI, if you want to go down a crazy rabbit train, write these notes down, look up the pine in the Vatican, the pine cone. So they actually put it on top of their staffs, and then they have a whole entire sanctuary about a pine cone. And there is a reason that they do that, okay? And we're going to kind of dive into understanding what the pine cone has anything to do with it and the reason it's called the pineal gland, right? And what does it do? And where do we hear this word, but we really don't even know? And how are we causing damage to it that we don't even know that we're causing to it, okay? So the thing about indoctrination is that we are being indoctrinated to use products that we don't even know that are harming our bodies. By the age of 2, we already have calcification on the pineal gland. By our teens, the calcification is completely calcified, all right? So what the pineal gland does, which by the way, my notes are totally on my phone, so I'm gonna freeze while I read them. I love me. Hold on, do I look pretty, Miss Pam, or do I need to come back? You know how it like freezes you and you look like an idiot?
No, I see the picture of you and
Emerson. Okay, great.
yeah,
Okay,
Emerson.
okay, good, good.
My mind
It
went,
always freezes me and makes me look like an idiot. And I'm like, God, somebody help me.
you
Okay,
look beautiful
so
tonight.
I love you. All right, so the pineal gland, by the age of 12, it is already calcified, right? And is hardened by adulthood. It is dormant and dead, completely not able to be used. And it's from lack of use, but it's also from toxic chemicals that we're using every day. Recent research reveals that fluoride, which is a toxic additive to our water supply and toothpaste, accumulates in the pineal gland where it wreaks havoc. The pineal gland produces melatonin, okay? So this maintains the circadian rhythm. So think about your sleep and your wake cycle, right? So how many people, in the comments, let me know how many people suffer from sleeping issues. Also wake issues like energy and desire and drive. That is all coming from the pineal gland, okay? It regulates the onset of puberty in females, okay? So again, we have started to calcify this pineal gland by 2. And by their teens, it is completely calcified. Now, early puberty, right? So the reason that this is a major issue is that early puberty is linked with breast cancer and is being used and established risk factors for breast cancer. It's influencing a woman's lifetime estrogen exposure. These little girls are getting more estrogen quicker, and a lot of breast cancers are estrogen driven, right? That's why we always tell you guys, do not use crappy products on your body because every one of them has xenoestrogens, which mimic natural estrogen, but they're chemical based and they cause cancer. So swinging back to the melatonin, right? So the powerful chemical is also known to fight and halt the spread of different types of cancer with a unique effect on breast cancer cells, being capable of disruption of estrogen, resulting in a net reduction in estrogen stimulant of the cells. So basically what this means is that it's decreasing levels of melatonin, which strips the body of the ammunition, right? So our bodies are so perfectly designed that we actually have ammunition to fight off cancer. But the problem is that it is decreasing, right? The breast cancer fight that we have because our melatonin is completely off by the age of 2. Right? In our teens, it's completely done. Like our bodies are already ruined by their teen years. And there are many autopsies that were showing this. So melatonin also helps protect the body from cell damage caused by free radicals. Okay. Now, I know some people in here have heard a lot about free radicals. So I'm just going to dive a little bit into that. But free radicals are basically an unhealthy cell that is missing an atom. And what it does is it goes and finds a healthy cell so that it could steal its atom. Now, it doesn't mean that there are 2 healthy cells now. It means there are now 2 unhealthy cells. And it does that all the way through your body. Free radicals are what ages you. It's what causes wrinkles. That's why all of your stuff that you'll use on your face now, they have antioxidants in it, right? So we need to watch our free radicals in our body and make sure that we are giving our body something that has high antioxidants to fight the free radicals. So to help detox your body of fluoride, right? So fluoride is the number one thing that is affecting your pineal gland. You need to eat or drink food high in antioxidants. Why? This is exactly why I drink Nature Red, the highest antioxidant drink on the market, right? It's a whole food supplement, and it is the highest on the ORAC scale, which means that it has the highest antioxidant level. Another thing that helps to stimulate the pineal gland is deep breathing. It stimulates and activates the pineal gland. So does meditation. Meditate, grab some meditation music, meditate on the word, go outside, sit in the sun, take deep breaths. All of this will start to help to activate that pineal gland again that we know is calcified at this point. We need that gland to be functioning properly, right? Another thing you want to avoid is the use of computers and cell phones. Just use them less. I know they're everywhere. Let's just try to be cautious of it. Also, eat less sugar. Sugar, sugar, sugar. So bad for you. Sugar feeds cancer. Sugar feeds viruses. You have to start eliminating sugar out of your diet. It's hidden in everything. Our family has not eaten sugar in 6 months, and I promise you, it sneaks in every so often in places that I never would have thought to check the ingredients. Eliminate processed foods and fluoride. Okay, so one of the biggest things is the fluoride in your water, but it's also the fluoride in your toothpaste. Okay, you have to have a better option in toothpaste. You know, obviously we use Young Livings, right? So we use this one, the kids use this one. There is fluoride hidden in your pots and pans. There's fluoride hidden in your deodorant. You have to start looking in your products so that you can pull out where we're using these fluorides at. Okay, so I want to talk about the pineal gland a little bit more and understanding what it does. Okay, so when you get off this call and you go run down this rabbit trail, because there is no chance that I could have ever fit all of the content plus what I actually have to talk about into this call. So after you get off here, I really want you to kind of dive into this and understand this on a little deeper of a level. But the pineal gland is bioluminescent. Okay, guys, bioluminescent. It is sensitive to light, and when activated, it gives off light in your brain. A pine cone. Okay, so for my friends who are going to know what I'm about to say, I am the light of the world. For once you were full of darkness, but now you have light from the Lord. But while I am here in the world, I am the light of the world. Okay, my favorite. Luke 11:35. See to it then that the light within you is not darkness. Is anybody seeing where I'm going here with this? Okay, God sent me down this path today. And I didn't want to go here. I was like, we're just going to do the normal talk that Tammy does. And he was like, no, 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 you're going to stop and you're going to talk about light today. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. The pineal gland is directly related. There's so much research done. Here's like some really creepy stuff. Verizon is actually trying to transmit from your phone to your pineal gland because they know that is the only thing in the body that transmits outward, outward, upward, outward, upward. Are you getting what I'm saying? The light is within you. But the problem is that there is an enemy of this world that is calcifying and closing and stopping and darkening your light. And we are saying yes to this darkness on accident because we are indoctrinated to drink the water of fluoride, to brush the teeth of fluoride, to eat off the pan with fluoride, so that all of the things, right, the fluoride, we know is the #1 cause of calcification of the pineal gland. There's insane, stupid amounts of research that is 100% proving what I'm saying. So instead of this pine cone being open, right? Open and up and outward. Okay. Think of a pine cone open and up and outward. It literally looks like this and is white and calcified on top, closing it down, stopping the transmission, stopping the light and the connection. Okay. When you look into it, some of this stuff is like super woo-woo. I know and I trust that you can read between the lines, right? Because some things are like, oh, it talks about like psychic and all this stuff. And I don't believe in those words. So I am like, yeah, no, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the other stuff. I want to make sure that I have a direct connection to the person above me who I want to talk to. I don't want anything in the way. I don't want any calcification in my transmitter, in my light inside of me, in my bioluminescent pineal gland at all stopping me. I don't want any decision that I make to hinder the light that I am supposed to be in this world. Okay. Now, if you're on this call and you're like, I don't really know what she just said. I just read biblical verses to you. Okay. And here's another thing. Like I will talk to people who are non-believers and I love you and that's okay. I'm a believer. So I'm just going to speak the way that where I look for my education. And I promise you that this book is actually the best scientific book that you will ever read. I learn more about the body from this book than I do from all of my other books that are torn apart and read and everything about the book. So there are two things that I really get people who were like, oh, I don't really believe in the Bible, or I haven't really read it. But I believe in science, right? Because I'm like, okay, cool. I can walk that walk all day long with you. So let's talk about neuroplasticity, also known as be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is literally the definition of neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is that every morning I wake up and my thoughts are renewed, that I have pathways in my brain that I get to choose which way my thoughts go, and I can actually change, I can redirect a thought pattern. They call it neuroplasticity. I call it biblical scripture. The Bible already said this thousands of years ago, and science is finally catching up, and they put a fancy little word on it, and now people believe it. And I'm like, whatever, dude, we're all believing the same thing. I believe it from a different source. I'm totally okay with that. The next thing is epigenetics. Okay, epigenetics is the sins of the father will be passed down from generation to generation. That is literally epigenetics. In a nutshell, what epigenetics is to scientists and people that only believe in this form of science and not the Bible, which is why a lot of scientists really come back to the Bible, because if you want to look at something to kind of research, open this up and look at healing, look at laying of hands and understanding the energy that is transferred from person to person. There are so many things in this book that I'm like, man, they think they're coming up with something new. And they literally are not coming up with anything new. So epigenetics, right? So they took this mouse and they injected it with the legal limits of BPA. Yes, that plastic that we thought they got out of all of our cups, but they didn't. They just renamed the word, and now it's still in all of our plastic, and now we have to fight them again in court. It is what it is. We are in a fallen world, and the FDA is corrupt. Hate me for it. Okay, so they shot a mouse with the legal limit of BPA. So this mouse gave it to her child and then also gave it to the child down. So they looked at 3 generations. All 3 generations had cancer. They all had the exact same kind of cancer. Now, the third mouse down did not ever be injected with BPA. The second mouse did not ever be injected with BPA. Obviously, the grandmother was. So they call it epigenetics. I call it the sins of the father passed down generation to generation. Now, when I'm not, again, I always want, especially when I have new people on the call, I'm always like, guys, I want you to see my heart and my passion from this. I'm not like condemning you that you are sinning because you're using plastic. Like, that's very silly, right? I want to fuel your fire to get off this call and be as pissed off as I am, right? Because as angry as I get when I get on these calls and I start looking at books like this is that #1 book. Remember, I always talk about this book, Your Health Has Been Hijacked, by Dr. Tom Reed. He's a double board certified surgeon, and he's completely holistic because he's like, holy crud, if y'all even knew the corruption, you would never be taking another pill in your life. So what I want people to see is that I want to give you a taste of what it's like to open your eyes up to holistic healing. Because a lot of times when we look at healing and health, right, us natural people who turn to essential oils or use plant-based products or take supplements, right, we're like woo-woo, we're weird, that stuff really doesn't work. It's too expensive, right? Like, all of that comes into it. Okay, we are indoctrinated to think that way. This is the original form of healing. This is hyssop, okay? Just go to your Bible app and type the word hyssop in, okay? I was using this oil because I'm like, God, I'm just going to use your oils tonight, like the ones you actually put in that book. I'm not going to use Valor, right? I'm going to use hyssop because I'm like, I know this word was from God, because I'm like, I've never taught on this. I've never researched this. I will continue to research this. And I promise you, there will be a call like this 2.0, because there was so much information that I could have continued to share. But I want to get back to, like, why are we looked at so weird? Because we just want a better option. I want you to live well. I don't want you to be scared of dying, right? I want you to make sure that you're saved and that you are going to live a well life, that your pineal gland is open, that you are having this, right? So it creates melatonin and serotonin. Those are your happy, 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 happy hormones. Happy sleep hormones, happy wake hormones. Those are your euphoria hormones. Those are your enlightened hormones. Those are your, I am floating on cloud nine, I've never felt so freaking good hormones, right? And again, when we calcify those, that's where the problem comes in, is that we're not living a life filled of abundance and wellness and energy and focus, and our minds are not connected properly because, again, the calcification, right? By the way, just look up, I saw so many photos and they were disgusting, and I was thinking about putting one on here, and I was like, no, I'll let them choose it for themselves. Just look up calcification of the pineal gland. It's disgusting. And I feel bad because we live that life. So let's break down all of the preconceived notions about holistic health and wellness. Number one, they don't work. That's a lie. Like, that's a blatant lie. If you want to try any essential oils, I'm sure that anybody that brought you on this call would send you some. If I brought you on the call, I will send you some. Essential oils work. They are literally cheaper than Tylenol, Pepcid AC, and any allergy medicine you're ever going to buy, right? So my son has allergies, and we use an allergy trio. We put it under his tongue, and that kid literally stopped sneezing. I had a headache today, threw some peppermint on, like stupid cheap peppermint. I think it's like just a few cents per drop. Headache went away, like insane. Shane has heartburn, diagyes on the stomach, gone. Like, the dude has Crohn's disease. We have not been in a hospital. I've been with the man for 10 years, which seems crazy. But before I met him, there were many visits to the hospital of Crohn's flare-ups. And since he's been with Tammy, we have had not one of those, because we are constantly supporting the body to make sure that it's functioning properly. I don't want to have a problem. I want him to live well, right? Essential oils work. Again, if you are not in our education group, please get in there and type in any of your problems. Anything you got, restless leg syndrome, it's going to come up peace and calming. Also, like magnesium, right? There are certain things that you need. There are reasons why your legs are having cramps. There's a reason why you're having vertigo. Hyssop in the ear, right here, not in the ear. Don't put it in your ear, but like right here on the outside of the ear. If you are having vertigo, that is incredible for vertigo. So many things, right? I have friends that have major health issues. We're talking major blood sugar issues, major heart problems, like, high blood pressure. They are supporting their body naturally with essential oils. It's crazy, but it's working. It freaking works. The reason you think it doesn't work is because we've been indoctrinated. It's a word I'm going to say over and over and over again, because I hate being duped, and I don't want my friends to be duped either. I want to make sure that everybody has the education on both sides of the platform, so that they can make their own educated decision on their health. But if you're going to go only to your doctor and you're going to idolize him and you're only going to turn to him for healing, I promise you he's only going to push the stuff that profits the pharmaceuticals. Why? Because the pharmaceuticals are who are paying him. It's a huge circle, right? Again, I've done posts on this, so I hope all of you have read them, or you're like, this chick's crazy. And if you want to read it, let me know and I'll send it to you. We've done lots of research to kind of understand why, how did we get here as a society? And it's JD Rockefeller. Just an FYI, tiny little tidbit. It was that jerk. Okay, so let's talk about money right now. So we know that it works. So we've completely debunked that. Now, money. That's just, okay. I've already debunked this a bunch of times. Again, go on our education group, go on my Facebook page. This last month, right? So this month alone, Young Living sends us $176 worth of free product in our subscribe to save order. And then on top of that, for me, they give me 25% back on every dollar that I spend. So I buy my shampoo, my conditioner, all the makeup you see on my face, my deodorant, my cleaner, my hand soap, everything. My flour comes from them. My cereal comes from them. Like, it's stupid the amount of products that these people have. Like, they are just a health and wellness company that you can trust to order your products from, and they freaking pay me back. They give me 25% back on every dollar that I spend. I get free shipping, and I get $176 worth of free product just this month. On top of that, like, they send bottles of oil, and they'll send you cleaner, right? Like depending on the month, right? They usually like go through and what we need. You'll see the pattern. Like if it's coming up on spring cleaning, they'll usually give thieves away right before spring. So it's always things that you need. Like right before February, you're always getting those hormone balancing oils. They're always giving out that sensation, right? It's they give you what you need for the month coming up. And I love that. They're not just giving me oils that are like left over in the warehouse that nobody wants, except for patchouli. They could stop giving me patchouli. I know Elizabeth's on here and she's like, I love patchouli, but I could seriously go the rest of my life without smelling that stuff. So tell me in the comments if you like patchouli, or if you're on my team where you're like, for the love of God, stop sending me patchouli. It is a really good oil though. It's great for poison ivy. For real, we don't use that pink stuff. Okay, the pink stuff is all kind of chemicals. We use patchouli. I know it's weird. It's a weird way of thinking. And there's apps to help you. And there's our website and there's our Facebook group and there's everything. The answers everywhere. There's books. It's not hard to use the products, right? Okay, so money. I think I just debunked that. Like the cleaner, this cleaner lasts me forever. The dilution ratio is on the back. I pour a cap full in here and I clean my whole entire house for, I think it's like $1, I don't know, $1.60 or something. Stupid cheap. I actually think because this bottle's smaller, it's less than $1. That's for the bigger bottle. And I'm like, you can't get a plant-based cleaner that outperforms, right? So I was just talking to a guy, he owns a pesticides company, you know, he kills bugs. Okay. So he's talking about, hey, you know, there's like a huge market for people just want a better option in even killing the pests in their home. Like, thank you, Jesus, for people waking up. Like, I just want people to pay attention. Don't put those harmful chemicals where your baby is about to crawl around or your dog. Please, if you have a pet that you love, do not put bleach or Lysol on your floor and allow your dog to walk. Don't do it. It's so insanely dangerous. Just go look up some articles on it. It is so harmful for your dog. I still love you and the soles of your feet and then it gets absorbed in your feet and your babies too. But I have a like super heart for my dog who's right there all the time. So just, we have to pay attention. We cannot allow ourselves to be indoctrinated to use harsh chemicals that are calcifying our pineal gland, that are causing harmful effects for our dog, that are causing xenoestrogens to get into females, you know, and causing breast cancer. We have to start opening up our eyes and pay attention and go, oh, if they tell me to look right, I'm going to look left this time, right? There's always a distraction. If they tell me that I should get that Glade Christmas smelling plug-in like 20 times, I'm going to be like, I wonder why. Because it's insanely harmful for your lungs. And right now, we really need these things to be functioning properly, right? Okay, so we talked about they work. We talked about I'm saving money. I legit am saving more money than if you're not using Young Living on a monthly basis. If you aren't getting your laundry soap and all of the things, all of your supplements should be coming from Young Living. Everything that you're using should be coming from a company who's going to give you free shipping and 25% back. I'm not even talking about the free hundreds of free dollars in free product I get every month. I'm just talking about the free like money they actually hand me so that I can go buy more baby wipes to take off all the makeup I put on today to look pretty for you people. Okay, so what we learned about last year, right? So we've been in a weird season, but it's been such a season for growth in my business. And the reason is that people are actually paying attention to their health. And they're going, hold on, they're not telling me to take vitamin D and C and zinc, but I heard that I'm supposed to. And I'm like, sweet, keep listening to that person you heard that from, and let me help you get it from a plant-based source. And the reason you want it from a plant-based source is because your body wants it from a plant-based source, right? It's bioavailable, which means that it has very similar kind of like molecules in our body that look like it. So our body's like, oh, friend, we look almost alike. Come here. I'll absorb you better. I won't pee you out and you won't be wasting any money, right? So that's why you want bioavailability. You want plant-based. If it's plant-based, your body recognizes it and says, hey, we're all kind of like living in the same realm. I want to use you. Now, whenever you're using a synthetic form, right? So if you're using something from like Walgreens or Rite Aid or CVS, oh my gosh, can I please just tell you to save your money and stop wasting it there? Okay, quality is so insanely important. If you have not been watching the Walmart aromatherapy spray debacle of 2021, I just want you to go Google it, Walmart aromatherapy, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm never using essential oils, because that's what their marketing is trying to teach you. They are using the word aromatherapy, right? Which is what we call these. These are essential oils, which are also known as aromatherapy because you're only supposed to smell them. But even though Young Living does have a whole entire line that was FDA approved for internal usage, because it's actually in all of your cooking stuff anyway, but we aren't even going to go down there. But so Walmart used a very cheap essential oil company in a product. So they put essential oils in, I think it was poopery or something, right? So like poop spray or something. Well, the soil that the oils were made from were contaminated with a bacteria that causes you to be so violently ill that you die. And there are multiple deaths, very, very young children. And there are going to be more coming out. And it is all because of the soil. So when you think you are buying a product from the store and you can trust it, I promise you, you can't, because there is no governing body. Not that they'd even do a good job anyway. Okay. Tammy, don't rant about the FDA. Okay. But there is no governing body that looks at our supplements or our essential oils. Okay. So you have to go, ooh, do I trust them? Walmart, $4? Yeah, they're legit. They know what they're doing. I'm certain they tested their soil for bacteria, but they didn't, right? So now they're in like this ugly mess, and they're trying to say that essential oils are super dangerous, and they are. There are some essential oils out there that are obviously super dangerous, okay? So you have to be careful what you're using, right? So I just have to go on a tangent because sometimes I have to listen to where God tells me to talk. I hope I don't get flagged because I'm going to say CBD. I don't know. Algorithm screws me out all the time. Whatever. I'll just ride the train. CBD. Okay, here's an example of why it matters where you get your CBD from. So in China, around the factories that they do a lot of like dyes, and they're dyeing clothing and stuff. So they have really horrible regulations, and they just flush all the toxins outside, right? Out of water. And it's just sitting all around there. So you have this basin of nasty, toxic filled water. So do you know what plant they put out there to suck up and clean the soil? It's like an amazing soil cleaner. Hemp. The hemp plant is an incredible soil cleaner. Like, it's amazing at it. So then they're like, oh, sweet, we can totally like cash in on this twice. Not only is it doing this job, but we're going to take this hemp plant and then we're going to distill it down. We're going to make hemp CBD oil. Oh, and we're not allowed to sell it to you in the United States. So we're actually going to funnel it through Canada. Y'all, just go look it up. It's everywhere. It's all over the internet. Don't use Google. They're corrupt. Use DuckDuckGo. Okay, but this is the stuff I'm talking about. Like, I know that you probably don't have a lot of time to sit here and dive down all the rabbit holes that Tammy goes down. And you can come on all these calls and listen to me, and I'll dive all down the rabbit holes for you. And I'm totally okay with that. But I just need you to pay attention. I need you to go, okay, listen, this chick ranted about these chemicals, and I'm really nervous to like swipe my card on any product that I'm putting around my body, in my body, around my home, where my dogs are laying, anything. That's literally the best part about Young Living. I don't have to freaking think anymore. I don't have to think. If I need it, I just get on my account and I'm like, boopity, boopity, boop. And I put all the things I need in there, right? I'm like, okay, Tammy, you're out of lavender and you're out of lemon, but you're also out of cleaner, and you're also out of baby butt paste for all of the man chafing situations. Sorry, I said it on Facebook and live and all that things. You know, you're out of Ningxia Red, and you need nitro for your brain because you're exhausted, and your kids need more granola, and you need sunblock because we're in Florida now. And wait, no, it's bug season in Florida. You need bug spray from Young Living. Like, literally, time and again, I just keep going to Young Living. I'm like, okay, The only thing these people don't have is tampons and toilet paper. I'm like, once they get that, I will never walk into another Walmart in my life. That's it. I don't understand. I'm like, how does this not make sense? You get paid back, right? First 3 months, 10%. Next 20 months, 24 months, 20% paid back. Then 25% paid back. Free shipping at 100 PV. Free promo products, which usually range between 150 at the very lowest, which it rarely ever gets that low, up to, I've seen it's up to $250 plus of free product every month on top of paying you back. That's what I'm saying is like, you're getting all this stuff and you're buying it anyway. You're buying laundry soap anyway. I would rather buy laundry soap from a company, buy toothpaste, buy mouthwash from a company that I know is not going to sneak fluoride into my products so that it does not harm my pineal gland. I want that thing freaking working. I want this transmitter to be so transmissional that the God can't not hear me, right? He's like, oh my gosh, that girl's screaming today, right? As I often am. Okay, so I was talking a little bit about the supplements that we learned over this last year, right? So they were like, okay, we need D. So Young Living has Super D. They're freaking delicious. It's 1,000 units per one. And I take 2 a day, right? So some people need to take 5 a day, but I am in Florida, right? So if you're more north and you never see the sun, you're going to need more. I'm south. I go outside. I hang out in the sun. You actually absorb more vitamin D from your eyes than anywhere else in your body. Just an FYI. So don't always wear your sunglasses. Just like for a couple minutes. Don't stare at the sun. Tammy did not tell you to stare at the sun. Okay. She said just hang out outside with your sunglasses. Vitamin C. Okay. The cool thing about Young Living is they're like, hey, we're going to have you buy one product and you're going to get a lot of stuff in there. So in our vitamin C, you have zinc. You need zinc. If you haven't read why you need zinc, you need it. Okay. But you need C and zinc together. All right. So you have zinc, you have magnesium, you have potassium. You have orange, tangerine, grapefruit, lemon, and lemongrass oil inside of our Super C. So you are getting the benefits of all of those oils inside of there. And there was a study done, which was super cool, that when we added essential oils into our multigreens, it was 70% more absorbent into our body, right? So they did it without it. And then they did it adding the essential oil in, and the essential oil actually acted as a driver into the cells. Super cool, dude. I don't want to pee out 70% more of the stuff I'm paying for. I don't know about you, but I'm not a rich person. Okay, then zinc, right? So we all need zinc. So there are 3 things that you need right now: D, C, and zinc, right? So we have Super D and Super C. And you can just pop those bad boys all day long. But there is so much zinc. This whole entire list are all of the products that Young Living puts zinc in because they're like, we know how good it is for your body. So ImmuPro, right? So they have 5 milligrams of zinc inside of ImmuPro. If you've not taken ImmuPro, I swear I could probably retire on just Super B for energy and ImmuPro for sleep. Like if you have any energy problems and you're not taking Super B, just stop. Just ask the person who brought you to this call to send you like 4 little tablets and you'll be blown away, right? ImmuPro, dude, that is why my kid is sleeping right now. I know the time change and all of that situation, but they take a quarter of it. It doesn't matter. We change, we travel. By the way, I totally did not introduce myself and I'm a horrible person, but I'm just give me grace. Okay, so we travel full time. I change time zones all the time and my kids are never affected because I give them a quarter of ImmuPro. Right? That bottle lasts me forever. So we take ImmuPro. It supports your immune system. That's why it's called ImmuPro. And then it also has natural melatonin, which supports your sleep, right? And that melatonin I was telling you about. Remember, I just talked about what melatonin does for your body and why we can't stop the pineal gland from working properly. All right. It's also in Power Drives. It's in Balance Complete, and it's in the Super C that you're taking. So I hope that you guys see my heart here. I really want you to live well. I want you this time on earth, right? We're all not getting out alive. Okay. We're not. That's not how this works. I don't want to get there faster than I should. I want to make better choices so that I stay here a little longer. I like it here. I like my friends. I like my dog, really. So all of that. But when I'm here, I want energy. I want passion. I want my brain to be functioning good. I don't want brain fog. I don't want allergies. I don't want inflammation. I don't want arthritis. I don't want these things. So this is my body. This is my living temple. I have to treat this thing good. I have to make sure that I'm deep breathing. I have to make sure that I'm meditating. I have to make sure that I am breathing in essential oils to help my lungs function properly. I have to make sure that I'm taking my supplements so that I have energy and I'm sleeping well and my hormones aren't crazy and my gut is functioning properly. I have to use products that are not going to harm me and my children and my dog. Like, that is, you are commanded this life. Like, you are given this life. Stop allowing media, mainstream media, to indoctrinate your mind to think that bleach needs to be on everything, that bleach is the smell of clean, or Lysol is the smell of clean. It's not. Your car does not have to smell like a Christmas tree or whatever that little tree thing is that is in everybody's car. It should not smell that way. You should not be breathing that in. Anytime you breathe something like that in, is in your brain in 3 seconds. In 3 seconds from the time of smelling something, it is in your brain. So you smell bleach, you smell Lysol, you smell that disgusting car diffuser, you smell a candle. It is in your brain in 3 seconds, and it's freaking toxic. We have to sit here and go, I'm going to get off this call and I'm going to go research some stuff, because holy crud. So again, I want you to kind of go look up the pine. It's just look up like the pine cone in the Vatican, or the idea behind the pine cone at the Vatican. Very interesting stuff. Don't go too far down that rabbit hole. Okay. All right, guys, I love you so much. That is my chat for tonight. Miss Pam, if you'll stop recording, if anybody wanted to ask questions, I'll totally answer questions if you wanted. I don't know if you'll have questions, but I'm down for it. Oh, man.
I just had one quick comment. Here in Oklahoma, where marijuana is legally grown, Chinese population is buying up land like crazy.
Right.
My dad actually owns land, and someone bought property next to his, and he's very concerned of what's going to be washing down in his creek, because we have cattle and horses. And so, yeah, that is a thing going on here in Oklahoma. So, yes, that was just something that clicked in my head. But I loved everything that you just spoke on, and I cannot wait to dive deeper and hear 2.0.
Yeah, super good. Yeah, I mean, I've heard rumors about the Chinese buying up our stuff. I hear, so it's more for, are we not on Facebook and recording? Can we make sure that's not happening? Guys,
Are we out?
y'all.
Oh, I'm so sorry if we're not.
No, you're fine. I just need
We're
to.
off of Facebook, but we're still
Okay.
recording, so I'll stop recording.
Oh, I thought you told her. Okay.